Have you heard that Windows 10 is ending support? You might have heard from friends or family that Windows 10 is ending support this October. You go home on the website, try to see if your aging computer is compatible with Windows 11, but unfortunately it is not. What do? You don't have the money to buy a new computer? Do you keep using Windows 10 with those security updates? Well, there is another way. Here is Ubuntu. Ubuntu is based on Linux and it is a very lightweight operating system. Will basically run on anything. You can go over here to the website and download the version here. I'd recommend the LTS version, but for this video I'm going to go ahead and download this one here, the second one. But it's basically the same process. You just go ahead and download the .iso file, and once it is done downloading, I will be back. So what you're going to want to do here is download a program called Balena Etcher. You can go ahead and download it here. You can download it on Mac, Linux, Windows, whatever. So, I mean, if you're watching a Linux tutorial, you probably don't want to download on Linux, but download it on Windows here, and then I will go ahead and open it up. Just a second. And then you open up the Balena Etcher program, you'll see these things here. You can go ahead and click Flash from File, and go ahead and select the .iso file that we downloaded and just burn it to your flash drive. Now I've already done this, so it won't show up for me, and I don't have my flash drive in my computer right now, but yeah, just go ahead and do that. Go through the process. Very easy. Now once you go ahead and you insert your USB into your computer, the one that you just made with Balena Etcher, you will see right here, you will see the splash screen on your laptop. It might be different for yours, but or if your laptop or your desktop, whatever you're using, right? For me, it's just you just press delete right here and you can get into the BIOS. But yeah, it could be different for yours. You might not have a UEFI BIOS, and it might be a little bit more difficult to go ahead and do this. But yeah, you just go ahead and we're just rearranging the boot order. Like I said here, you just go ahead and you rearrange the boot order. Make sure you have your UEFI partition set to number 1 here. Just go ahead and drag it up on my BIOS. It might be different on yours. You might have to go through like a scroll down menu or whatever. But yeah, once that's done here, you can go ahead and go to the Ubuntu installation. So now once you're booted into the drive here, just go ahead and press enter, go and boot it up here, and yeah. Just might take a little while here just to get into the Ubuntu system here, but yeah, once you're in, there you go. You can see it's loading, and once it's loaded in, it could take a little bit here depending on your system. If you have a hard drive, it could take an eternity, but if you have an SSD like me, it shouldn't take too long. But I will go ahead and cut this and I'll come back. So yeah, once you're finally in here, you can go ahead and continue with the setup here. I'm just gonna go and select English, just go next, next for that one. If you want to use wired or wireless, you can go ahead and set up wireless if you want to. But yeah, you can go ahead and try it out here. So this is what I would recommend to do, just to see if you are a fan of this or not. You can go ahead and try stuff out here. So yeah, you can see just moving around the desktop, opening up Firefox, see a Firefox web browser on here too. I have other things here too that you can use. Libre Open Office is kind of like a thing for Microsoft Word, kind of. You have other things as well that you can use, like Excel and that kind of stuff. But yeah, for this one here, you can use like Word. It's like a Word alternative here. So just waiting for it to open up there, and you know, you can type everything there. It's pretty cool actually. It's pretty similar to Microsoft Word, but it's like an open source version that works on Linux. And yeah, Microsoft Word does not work on Linux, so just to let you guys know. But yeah, and you can go ahead and you can save your document here if you want to. I'm just gonna go ahead and save it here on my desktop. Oops. Oh, typing in the wrong spot there, my bad. And there we go. Let's go ahead and save it, and I can open it for next time. And then whenever you are ready to go ahead and install it, you can go ahead and go to the install release thing, the install Ubuntu, and you can just go through all the steps there and install. But it does take a little while, so I'm just gonna go ahead and I'm gonna cut this, and I'm gonna show you guys some of the things that you can do on other Linux distros. So this here is another version of Linux, a distro, kind of like a distribution, that's what it's called basically. So these are different versions of Linux. I'm going to show off two of them. I already showed off Ubuntu. Now it's time for some gaming type distros here. You can go ahead and download Bazzite here. You can download this thing here, just see if you have a whatever graphics card you have here, whatever interface you want to go with here. Go ahead and select whatever you have. I think, you know, if you are a gamer and if you know about your computer here, go ahead and download Bazzite. It is an awesome operating system. It's very, very easy to use, especially if you have an AMD GPU. If you have an NVIDIA GPU, it's a little bit more difficult, but yeah, you can download the NVIDIA drivers with that as well. Also, you're going to get the .iso file. Just do it the same way with Blender Etcher. It's the same thing. So yeah, once you're done with the setup, log into your Steam account. This is Bazzite, guys. This is a really, really cool operating system here. Really, really similar to like a Steam Deck kind of. So yeah, you can go ahead and you can select whatever games you want to, and you can play them. And I will actually show off some games because, you know, this is a gaming channel after all. But yeah, before we do that, let's take a look at the settings here. You have the quick settings. If you press the Xbox button and the A button at the same time, you can see the performance, stuff like that. You can limit the frame rate, enable VRR if you are on DisplayPort. It doesn't work on Linux, on HDMI 2.1. If you have an AMD GPU at least, but yeah, you can go ahead and you can customize a lot of stuff, so it's really, really cool. So yeah, let's get into some games. So like I said, guys, let's get into some games. The first game I'll try out here is Hellblade Senoue's Sacrifice. It actually ran really, really good, and considering I have a 5700 XT, a really cool thing about Linux here is that even though the 5700 XT does not support ray tracing, I can still play the game with ray tracing enabled. It's because of the open source drivers. For some reason, AMD has some kind of thing that it works on Linux, but it doesn't work on Windows. I wonder if one day they can get that working on Windows as well, but for now, it just works on Linux. So yeah, I'm just gonna fast forward here, just give you guys some gameplay right away. So yeah. So yeah, guys, this is Hellblade Sacrifice Sacrifice running on my Linux machine, 5700 XT, 9400F, Intel Core i5, so yeah, 16 gigs of RAM, and a 256 gigabyte storage, so I didn't have too much room to download many games, but as you guys can see, it runs very, very well. Even with ray tracing on, it's basically holding a stable 60. It's dropping every now and then, but it is running very, very good. And also the thing is that I did cap the FPS to 60 FPS because my monitor only supported, the monitor I was using only supported 60 Hertz. But as you guys can see, very, very smooth. Looks like a very, very good game. It does look very stunning, very demanding game as well. So if you have a lower end PC, I wouldn't recommend playing this at max settings, but obviously if you have a 5700 XT or higher, you can definitely play this game in max settings, see all the bells and whistles, and this game looks amazing, and it's a pretty cool game as well. I actually played it on the channel here, but I ended up rage quitting, so maybe I might get back to this game some other day, but not now. The next game I tried out here is Mass Effect Legendary Edition, specifically Mass Effect 2. I think it ran pretty well here, but what I actually had to do here is I had to install the Lutris launcher. So just to go ahead and download the EA app or whatever, I will show that right after this. But yeah, you can see the gameplay right here. Actually, there's a loading screen first, but yeah, we have to boot into the game. On Xbox, you can just go ahead and do it individually. It doesn't have to load up the game, it loads it up all at once. So that's a little problem with the PC version, but it's not that big of a deal. As soon as I load in here, there's the game, here's the gameplay. Does play pretty good here. I'm just walking around here, not really too much stuff happening, but you know, it does run pretty good on the 5700 XT here. You can see right here I'm just using my powers and, you know, fighting these robots and stuff like that. So yeah, but you do have to use the EA launcher in order to launch this game, but on Linux it's actually very, very easy. I will show it through Lutris. It's very, very easy. And it's a really cool game to play on Linux here. So yeah guys, I went ahead and I showed you a lot of the gaming stuff that you can do here, but what if you want to do some actual work on Linux here on this Bazite OS? What are you supposed to do? Well, you can switch over to the desktop mode, right over here. I'm just switching over here, and it looks very similar to Windows actually. You can see like it looks like the older Windows, but yeah, I'll just show off Lutris here. Right here you can see the EA app, Epic Games Store, GOG Galaxy, Ubisoft Connect. You can access all of these things here. Lutris, very easy to use. I won't really bother showing off anymore there, but you can definitely use it here to play those games from EA and Ubisoft and Epic. So it's very easy, and I'll just show off some of the stuff with the story here. Kind of just takes a minute to load here, but yeah, you can see you can download a lot of this open source software. Like I said, on Linux, there's a lot of programs that do not work as of now, but there's a lot of alternatives that you can find, and you can find to do a lot of different work, so yeah. Let's get back to the games for a second. So the next game I tried out here is Sonic Adventure 1 here on the PC through Steam, and it actually runs really good here. So I don't know if I mentioned it yet, I can't really remember, but this is actually not running natively through Linux. It's actually using some kind of emulation layer called Proton, which is developed by Valve. So on the Steam Deck, it will tell you all these games or, you know, what rating they have. And if it works, you can go on the proton.db page to find that out. It's very easy, and you know, it works very nicely. So you can see here, game runs very smoothly, really no issues here. Can go ahead and, you know, see we beat Chaos there. Now we're gonna go ahead and go to the first stage here, Emerald Coast. So yeah, you can see it runs really well, and you can see the frame time and everything. That's why I put up the graph there and everything. So you can see it plays very well, guys. Honestly, I was kind of shocked, just because this game is known for having some issues on Windows, but it ran very nicely here. So yeah, I mean, the amount of games that I tried on here, I didn't get footage for all of them, but I basically tried out around, I would say 10 or 15 games at least, and I didn't have any issues on any of them. So yeah guys, should you switch over to Bazite OS or Linux for gaming? I would say it depends. Now look, not every single game is going to work. There are issues with anti-cheat, especially if you're trying to play games like, let's say for example, Valorant, Fortnite, Apex Legends. These games unfortunately do not work on Linux, and there are a few others here and there. You can go to the RB anti-cheat website here. You can see it right here. And unfortunately, a lot of these games, they do not work, but that doesn't mean all of them don't work. There's still some games here and there that do work, in fact, and they work great. Now, if you are a single player gamer, absolutely go ahead and switch over to Linux if you're not happy with, like, let's say, for example, Microsoft's privacy policies, not quite trusting Microsoft with security, with the updates and stuff like that. You don't want to pay the extra $40 or whatever until Windows gets you the updates to you. Then yeah, switch over to Linux. But if you do want to play these games, unfortunately, they just don't work on Linux, so there's no other way. You have to stick to Windows probably. But if you don't care about these kind of games, like these multiplayer games, honestly, yeah, it's worth it. Considering there are so many games you can play on Linux here through Steam. There's about 20,000 games that are considered playable, so there are a lot of games, guys, for people to play. Honestly, you can be playing those games all day, every day, and you'll never run out of games. So there are a lot of games that work, guys. Honestly, I was shocked how well some of these games performed. I didn't show off some other games that I saw working as well, like Indiana Jones and the Great Circle. You can even play these games on an RX 580 on Linux here, or even an RX 480. They basically work on any older AMD graphics card as well. It's actually kind of shocking how many games work. Even Doom the Dark Ages that just came out works perfectly fine on a 5700 XT, yeah, sure, you're going to be playing around 30 frames per second, but at least you can play the game. On Windows, it doesn't even launch. So yeah, guys, I mean, honestly, if you think that you should switch over to Linux, and if those games that you play are compatible on Linux, absolutely. For gaming, Linux is awesome, especially if an older graphics card can't play these games like Doom the Dark Ages, like other ray tracing only games as well, like Indiana Jones Great Circle, Metro Exodus, those kind of games. If you want to play them with ray tracing on Linux, go ahead and do it. You can't do it on Windows with the 5700 XT with an RX 580, but on Linux you can do it perfectly fine. And one thing I just completely forgot to mention, it is so easy to use Linux. It is ridiculously easy. All I had to do is just install the program here, the actual operating system, and everything works perfectly fine. I didn't have to install any drivers, didn't have to do any updates or anything like that. Everything just works out of the box, and it's just absolutely amazing. I would even say it's easier than Windows, which I know a lot of people are going to get mad at that, but it's true. So yeah, I mean, Linux is definitely a viable gaming platform. You can definitely play a lot of games on Linux. Like I even showed, even on Lutris, there's 20,000 games that you can play on Steam alone. The more and more the Steam Deck gets support, is the more and more Linux is going to be better. So this is why you should definitely be supporting the Steam Deck as well, because the more and more support the Steam Deck gets, guys, the more and more support Linux gets. At this point, I mean, it is amazing how well Linux works, and I gotta say, for gaming, it is awesome. It is really, really good. I would even say in some cases it's even better than Windows. I would definitely use Bazzite here. You can actually game on Ubuntu as well, but you might have to set up some stuff here and there. On Bazzite, you basically have all the software already pre-installed. So yeah, I mean, for gaming, definitely really good. So let's talk about productivity right now. Now, again, with Linux here, a lot of these software that a lot of people use are not going to work, like any kind of Adobe programs, Microsoft programs. They unfortunately do not work. But look, okay, there are a lot of alternatives that you can use, like Libre Open Office. There's a lot of others as well that you can use. You can use Google Docs. There is a lot of different softwares that you can use, guys, for word processing and that kind of stuff like that. So it shouldn't be a big issue. If you do work, you know, with Microsoft Word files all the time, maybe stick with Windows. But the thing is that, look, there are so many alternative softwares that you can use, even for, like, let's say video editing. You have a lot of alternative softwares that you can use. Like, let's say, you know, you have GIMP, for example. I mean, that's for photos, but you can go ahead and you can use Kdenlive as well, which is a video editor. There's a lot of alternatives, guys. Honestly, for every single program, you could basically find an alternative. Even for the AMD software, and this was even easier than I thought. I just had to just download one program. It's called Lact, and I could go ahead and I can undervolt my GPU and control the fan speed. You can control RGB. You can do so much stuff, and this is straight from the Linux store. I don't have to go on the web browser and type in yada yada yada. I can go ahead and I can download whatever I want from the store, which is awesome. And you can even use OBS as well. OBS is supported on Linux and it works great. So guys, like, there are so many reasons. If you're a gamer or even a streamer or video editor, you can switch over to Linux. It is awesome, guys. Now look, am I going to be switching over to Linux? I'm not going to be switching over to Linux yet, but I think I might in the near future. But for now, I'm going to go ahead and stick with Windows. The reason I am sticking with Windows is because some of the software I use, unfortunately, is not compatible with Linux. So that is an issue. And also the thing is that if you are on an NVIDIA graphics card, you might not have the greatest time in the world. Now, look, I'm looking to switch to an AMD graphics card in the future, but for now, I am on NVIDIA, and unfortunately, Linux does not work the greatest on NVIDIA. But, I mean, if you want to try it out, you can go ahead and try it out. Some people say it works okay for them, but for now, I'm just going to go ahead and stick with Windows. But yeah, guys, I mean, honestly, this video was mostly made for people that are on Windows 10. Instead of paying those security updates for $40, for the however many years you're going to be using Windows 10 for, go ahead and switch to Linux. You don't have to buy a new operating system. It is very easy to use. Like I said, drivers, very easy. Everything is so easy. I didn't have to install any Wi-Fi drivers, graphics card drivers. Everything just works. It is absolutely amazing. Coming from Windows, I never thought that PC gaming could be so easy, that operating a PC could be so easy. It is just shocking, guys. But yeah, guys, thank you so much for watching. I know this is a pretty long video here, but I mean, I had to make it here because I am honestly amazed with Linux and how far it's come. I will definitely be keeping an eye on it, and one day I know I will definitely switch over to Linux because I know the gaming is going to be very, very good. More software is going to be supported one day. Linux is absolutely the future, guys. But yeah, thank you so much for watching, guys. Please leave your comments down below. What do you guys think of Linux? Have you guys used it? Did this video make you want to try it out here? Do you have old aging hardware that does not work very well on Windows? Do you want to play specific games that I told you guys would work on Linux but do not work on Windows? Maybe your graphics card is a little bit older. Do you guys want to use some more software that you just don't know about on Linux, or you want to go ahead and switch over for the privacy and security reasons? There are so many reasons to switch to Linux, guys. Honestly, like I said, Linux is the future. I will definitely be looking out for it. I am very, very excited for it. The future of Linux is looking bright, guys. But yeah, thank you so much for watching, guys, and I will catch you guys next time. Peace.